the band today. Very, very excited. Are we all pumped for this afternoon? Fuck yeah. I forgot that you'd all be standing up, and quite frankly, it is terrifying. Hello, you're right. Well, that's quite sweet, actually. I feel good now. Hello. There's been so many battle jackets. Right, we're going to get this thing rolling on. Before we do, I'm just going to let you know, unfortunately, Glenn can't join us today, which is very sad, but we have the rest of the band here. And there you go. We love you, Glenn. Exactly. Should we just get on with it? Yeah! Then please welcome to the stage, Judas Priest!
Hello everybody. We just got out of the van. It seems that we spent our entire life in a van. There's nothing wrong with that, but I tell you, it was beautiful. Beautiful driving down the... Was it the M1? What M was it? The M something?
The M40, yeah, M something.
Yes.
This is already a real rock and roll conversation.
Because I tell you, we've been up and down that motorway for as long as it's
If it was the M1, we'd have stopped at the Blue Ball.
What's your favourite motorway? That's not on my questions on here, but we can do it now.
Well, the M1 has treasured memories because it was the first, obviously. Yeah. M, motorway 1, the first one. And so, yeah, this is what we did. Get on the M1, go up to Sheffield, go up to Newcastle, go up north, you know, and then the other way down to the Big Smoke, as it used to be called. And that's the joy of travelling even now, because the journeys bring so many memories to you as you're going back and forth. But here we are. Thank you everybody for coming today. It's beautiful to see you all. We can't wait. We've been banging away for 2 weeks in this rehearsal facility in Birmingham called Rabano's, and I tell you, the new set is absolutely lethal. Killer set.
Can you give us any clues as to like what you're opening with, or is it something from the new album?
We'll wait. We'll wait until the first show in Glasgow, because I mean, you know, when you're on a stage now, you're literally on the world stage, because there's always somebody holding their phone up and live streaming you, and that's great. That's absolutely great. But one of the joys about this band was we try and keep that little bit of mystery, you know, because when we were in the early years of the music industry, you really only had limited information for your fans, and I think that added a little bit of a kind of a mystery part to who you were. Now, of course, that's a whole different thing. Everybody wants to know what you had for breakfast, what kind of toilet paper do you use, what newspapers do you remember. But so we'll save that. But it's a killer show with a great new stage set, wonderful team of people with us working again. And shout out to our label Benj and everybody. Our label Sony Epic, we've been with for 1,000 years. I love this band, we love them, they're doing a great job. And we're very excited to be here today, because on Friday, this next Friday, Ian, I'm looking at you. I don't know
what you want to know about next Friday.
The album's released, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Oh, thank God for that.
That's what we're here to talk about.
We're here to talk about the Invincible Shield.
Your 19th studio album. How does that feel to be releasing the 19th studio album? We'll let you take that, Ian. Well,
it's more than one in...
It's something you don't think about until somebody mentions the number. You know, you're so used to that sort of tour cycle that we've been doing for over 50 odd years. So we say it's 19. Really? Apparently it's 19. You felt exactly the same as the 18th one, except we're all a bit older.
Does it feel, Because obviously the previous album did amazingly well, like it's your highest charting album, all of that sort of stuff. Does it feel like there's actual pressure to follow that up now?
Again, it's something that we do. I mean, the only sort of proviso is try and get better. Try and make it better than the last one, you know. That's what we've been doing for, you know, since 1974, the first album. You try and move forward. You're always learning every day, you know, you never stop learning. And that's what we try to put into the next project. And we pretty much do what we want. And we've been pretty lucky in that respect, because you guys have followed us over these years, you know. And well, we've probably got away with it, really, haven't we? You know. But there's no, we don't sort of think, oh, we need a song like this, or we need a song like that. You know, we just sort of try and make it better than the last one, and that's what we've done for, you know, since the beginning.
The songs that we've heard so far off the album, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have heard the whole thing, and you guys are in for an absolute fucking treat. Honestly, it's amazing. But the 4 songs that we've had from the singles seem to show like sort of almost different sides of the band. Like there's a big sort of sonic range with all of those songs. Can you let us know maybe what sort of thing we might expect from the rest of the tracks that these guys haven't heard yet?
It is a very varied album. It's something that we've been known for all along, is like versatility. We've done songs that'll make you weep, right the way through to songs that make you scared, and everything in between, you know. And this album's got a bit of all of that in it, you know. And obviously it's something we're very proud of. We put a lot of work in, especially our guitarist Richie. Fantastic lyrics, you know. But my job's comparatively easy. I get the song and I put bass lines to it, you know. There actually these 2 guys here, and of course Glenn, who sadly is not with us today. But yeah, you know, we're looking forward to getting out on the road and playing some of the songs for you, you know.
Are there any particular that you're looking forward to playing live? Do you all agree on the ones that are best to play live, or do you have different ideas on ones you look forward to?
Title track we want to do for sure, the Invincible Shield song, which is the title track.
Yeah.
So we want to do that one, and we know that one kicks ass.
Definitely does. Where did the title come from? What was the inspiration behind the Invincible Shield?
I love the Avengers. I'm mad for all of that. And they have this thing called Shield, you know. I kept thinking about Shield, what does a shield represent? And in the Avengers, it's like this incredible organisation that like protects things, you know, and fights back. So this word was floating around in my head for ages. And then Invincible, you talk to creative people, it's all organic, isn't it, Richie? That's what I love about this band. Nothing's plotted or planned. It's all very natural, real love of what we do in every aspect of heavy metal. So this word invincible starts coming into the picture, and you put the 2 of them together, and it's just a brilliant statement. Judas Priest has been the Invincible Shield for heavy metal for over 50 years. So there's that, but all you guys here, you're part of the Invincible Shield for, you know, your love and support in keeping this band united. You know, so everybody carries this part of an Invincible Shield within them. You know, I think everybody has that, especially when you're banging up against things, challenges in your life. You never really understand how powerful you are until you have to deal with certain circumstances, whether it's a health issue or whatever. You know, you suddenly find this incredible, well, it's never ending, of resilience and self-power and the Invincible Shield. And there I go, being an Oprah of heavy metal again. But that's what I mean, you know, that's what I love about this title. Judas Priest, the Invincible Shield, our metal community is the Invincible Shield. It's just a beautiful statement for this particular record, where we are in time.
I wanted to ask you, because you talked about, you know, how long the band's been going and how much you've at the forefront of it. How do you maintain that energy and vigour? Because like the new album and, you know, the newer albums as a whole just sound like brilliant modern metal albums, whereas I would say a lot of bands who've been going as long as you guys, if they do release new stuff, it certainly doesn't sound like they've still got that energy. How do you maintain that?
Well, I can't answer that. I haven't been doing it as long as you have.
It's something like the process is taking that step forward, and you keep learning. You don't rest on your laurels, you know. I mean, some bands do the same album umpteen times, and people love them for it. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've never done that. We've always tried to take that step forward, and it keeps you relevant and keeps you modern. You know, I mean, look at the young faces here today. You know what I mean? They're not all our age, and it's something that you need to do to get across to younger people. And it's nothing that we plan, it's just something that we've done by that moving forward process.
Can I butt in now? Okay. Who's that? Judas Priest can be your painkiller, or we can be your turbo lover. Sex sells it still, you know. But what I mean by that is that's the joy of this band. There really is no other band in metal like Judas Priest, because we always said from day one, no matter where we go and what we do, for us it's British heavy metal music. And I think the fact that we never let anything kind of wall us in, or you know, anything on the outside come in and kind of take control of where we go and what we do in the creative sense, that's part of the remarkable joy of this band. You know, there isn't any other band that's been to so many places, like the Sentinel and Before the Dawn and Last Rose of Summer and Victim of Changes and Rock and Roller and Never Satisfied and Point of Entry and Screaming for Vengeance and Sin After Sin and on and on and on. It's mad. It's metal madness, but it's in the truest beautiful sense of everything that we love and do about this band goes into our metal and provides this great kaleidoscope of opportunities.
And you announced the album on stage at Power Trip in California in front of 200,000 fans. What was that feeling like?
It was a blur, wasn't it? That was just a blur.
They all applauded, which is a good sign.
It was a blur. It was. I tell you what was brilliant about that whole thing was you had two British heavy metal bands there, Maiden and Priest, in Power Trip with our other mates, Metallica, Tool, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. It was brilliant to work with AC/DC again, because I went up to Brian after we went on. I go, do you know how many years it's been since we worked with AC/DC? He goes, and I said, 40 years. 40 years this year was the last show that we worked together. And we look at each other and it's just, you know, stunned. But the Power Trip it became like a global event as it was building all this great excitement towards it. So we thought, here's a perfect opportunity with the world watching to have this special announcement. And it did really well, you know. It was a very, very proud moment for us as a band, a very proud moment for where we're from and for British heavy metal and everything we love about it.
With the tracks we've heard so far from the album, I mean, I think there's four singles so far. How do you decide which ones to release first to give people a taster of the album?
Where's Ben? Yeah. We work with the label. We have a great relationship, and admittedly, we have the last say. We always have the last say, because again, everything's about perspective, you know. And we felt that of all the songs, this was probably the best one to lead the charge. It's difficult because there's every single song has something to say and do. You've got, again, very distinctive moments happening on this album. There's no replication. Each song is really standing on its own legs. But we knew our metal maniacs were waiting for something to blow the fucking heads off, so you got Panic Attack.
Panic Attack, a phenomenal track. I can't wait to see that live, assuming that one's going to be brought out in the show. Ian just sort of looked at me as if to say, I don't know.
Say nothing.
How are you feeling about getting back on the road? Because we were saying before when you came on, you know, up and down the M1 for decades. Is that something you still enjoy, or does that become a bit of a ball ache in the end?
No, we very much enjoy it, because nowadays that's, like Rob was saying a minute ago, you can obviously reach everyone through social media, but until you get in front of a live audience, this is what it feels like right here. can't do that on the internet. I don't care how good your internet speed is, you're not going to replicate this sort of feeling. I mean, even me just now, I'm going, dude, we should be playing here.
I mean, I'll be honest, no matter how much you cheer, it might be tricky to sort out now. Logistically, I'm sure they want to, but I don't love the gig. Again, a cappella, I don't know how that... Feel like doing some a cappella tracks, guys, with absolutely no instruments?
Don't get me started. I love it. But it is, look, we've been doing this, I keep pushing this, don't I? It's a long, long time, 50 years. It's what my knees told me when I crawled out of bed this morning in Walsall. It's so hard to describe, it just becomes such an important part of who you are as a person. As much as it is to you guys, we know how much you love this band, and you're part of the driving force that keeps all of that energy rolling and focus. You know, I've said it a million times again, without you fans, you've got nothing. You know, you can't just play in a room together. You have to have a destination. And I also feel that, you know, you validate yourself completely as a band when you play your music live. You know, it's one thing to make a great record and hear it coming through the speakers or your headphones or whatever, but that doesn't really become real until you're in front of the people that, you know, support you and taking you this far. So that's all wrapped into wanting to get back on the road again. We've been around the world so many times, you know, literally millions of miles. We've travelled in thousands of shows, but there's still that feeling just before, you know, you're putting your kit on, and then you're getting ready, you know, we're blasting some music backstage, and, you know, we still get dressed together, we're all in one dressing room. There's no, I want my dressing room over there. It used to be 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want green polo mints. There's none of that. You know, we're still a bunch of lads that have a great time being together as a band, and this whole experience of the band is on stage and off stage. But the getting together, you know, you can really feel it in the room, the psyching up of going to work and going to do your best possible metal show. And that's never dissipated. For as long as I've been in this band, there's been a genuine love and need to get on that stage and be with our metal maniacs.
What do you think makes the connection between you guys and your fans special compared to every other band and people who might go and see them? Do you think there's something special about Judas Priest fans?
Songs, right? It's got to be the songs. I mean, at the end of the day, these fans love our songs. We love the fans, of course, but simple, but it's true, right?
Because you must have people who've been with you since the beginning, right? Do you see sort of faces in the crowd who've been coming for decades?
Absolutely. That's not lost on us, that there are some metal maniacs that have been with us from day one, and if that isn't love and passion and support, I don't know what is. What's equally exciting is, you know, we're at this place now where you look out to all of our fans, and there's everybody from every kind of demographic, and that's just really something that you don't expect when you begin your work in this band. You don't expect, firstly, to get this far, and then to see how far your music has reached. I was talking to Frank Skinner, who's here somewhere, and he was saying the same thing, that, you know, each of us kind of owns this music. It's very, very personal. It means something very special and unique to each and every one of us, you know. So there's that part of the story as well, but particularly when you see, you know, you go on a stage anywhere in the world and you see like a young metal maniac barely into their teens with somebody from my septuagenarian years, and they're banging their heads together and they're doing this. That's just remarkable, you know, and I think that's pretty much exclusive to our world to a degree. And that just makes part of the, you know, this big picture and story of Judas Priest even more real.
Thank you for letting everyone know Frank Skinner's here. So there's 1,000 people going, why the fuck didn't they get him to host the Q&A? They could afford me. I want to talk about the artwork of this album, because it's absolutely fantastic. With long-time collaborator Mark Wilkinson, who's done a lot of your artwork. Do you take a brief to him with an idea of the mood of what you want, or a very specific idea, or do you just let him do his thing? How does it work?
We always just throw the very simple basic ideas because he's been working with us forever. What was the first one that he did for us, Ian? Was it
I
Panic?
can't remember. It's been so long ago, I can't remember. I really
You
don't
wrote it
honestly.
down. You did write it down.
But he's a tremendous
You did write it
artist,
down.
he really is. Absolutely tremendous.
You didn't write it down. Well, anyway, you know, again, this is what's so great again about all the other people who work with us. A lot of them have been with us forever, and they know everything about this band, and they know how important we value the artwork, as it's called. It's as important now as it was originally because everything was on vinyl, even before cassettes. It was on vinyl, you know. And when you hold up the album and you look, that's my band, and you try and portray a visual that represents the band and further represents what's going to be played off the record, if that's the way you choose to listen to music. So to create that image, to create that metal power and passion is really important, and Mark Wilkinson really understands this band so deeply that you just give him the basic plot and he's able to come up with the visual. You know, I just said, imagine a shield, it's invincible, you know, everything's bouncing off, it's a bit chipped, a bit worn like we are, and you know, it's fierce, it's pushing ahead, it's defending, but it's really, you know, forging forward into the metal furnace, that kind of thing. Have you got that? Yes, leave it with me. And like a week later, he sends sketches and off we go. But he's done incredible work on this album. The cover is just very, very special, very distinctive, that really, you know, gives you an idea before you even hear a note that this is Priest and they're not holding back.
Now, obviously, I think the band you're all quite spread out for where you actually live in the world, but does it feel special for you all to be in the UK? Is there something special about the UK and the metal scene particularly?
Well, we invented heavy metal, didn't we? Heavy metal comes from... This is where it all started, you know. That's not lost of us. Whenever we go around the world, whether we're on the stage in Tokyo or Rio or the Arctic Circle, which we haven't yet been to, we need to go up there. You know, we're flying the flag of British heavy metal, and we never lose sight of that, you know. And that's again, just part of this great thing called Judas Priest. Being able to start this tour is especially important for us. We haven't started the release of an album in our home country for I don't know how many years, you know. And I won't go into a debate about why this happened and that happened, but this is really important for us. It's a very significant moment right now for Priest in lots of ways to not only release this album, but to start this worldwide global trek in our home country. And we're absolutely thrilled, and we can't wait for you to experience it.
Is there a particular city in the UK that you're looking forward to most on the tour? Not that I want to start a riot or anything.
We love all of those places.
You see,
But it's got to be Birmingham, you know. It's
well, yes, Birmingham. I think any band, when you play a hometown, it is an extra special night. But you know, you hear some of the places being shouted out to us. When this band started getting in the van in 1974, whatever it was, we went to literally every part of this country. Didn't we? We went as far up north as Inverness. Inverness, where Loch Ness originated. It took 25 years to make. And then literally every place down, you know, if a bar, a pub, a club had anywhere we could plug the amps in, we played, you know, and I think that's important for any band.
You'd start out with the petrol money to get you to the first gig. I mean, literally, you have enough petrol money, and then you hopefully get paid to get you to the next one, and maybe stop off for an egg and chips on the way. And that's the way we did it, you know. We're still doing that now.
So as a result of that, you build a special relationship with every single place that you play, you know, and that's again the joy of coming home to your particular home, because we have treasured memories, you know. You've been there with us from day one.
So when you're away from the UK, I know you have an amazing time playing in other countries, but do you miss the UK when you're away? You can't wait to get back?
My family's here, my wife, my kids, everybody's here. One of them's here today. But yeah, it's always nice to get back home, where you belong, really, you know, in the bosom of your family and what have you. Not to get philosophical.
I live in Phoenix, as everybody knows, and I've still got my West Midlands accent, which I treasure. I'm not one of the, I'll now live in America, but it was like a large fries or a small fries. None of that. But I think...
Were you working in a burger restaurant in that impression as well?
Yes, that's exactly. It's a part-time job. But the beautiful opportunity that you have, if you so choose to go and live somewhere else for whatever reason, when you do come home, you really appreciate that this is more important than you really understood. You have to be away from it for a while to really appreciate the value that your home country gives you. You know, there is no other country like England or Scotland. It's just such a pure thing. It's very, very real. So, flying get on a plane in Phoenix, fly through 11 hours to Heathrow, get the van up to Birmingham, drop my bag at Walsall, drop my bags and go down to the chip shop. I do that every time. You know, I have to have my fish and chips, pickled egg and mushy peas, and then I'm really home. It's the little things like that that mean so much, and you probably feel more of that the longer that you're blessed to live a long life. You really appreciate the simple things in life mean so much more as you move on. And being home is probably, one of the most profound feelings that you get.
There's one person trying to start a round of applause there. Now, you're inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just over a year ago. Absolutely incredible achievement.
Aussie next. Everybody vote for Aussie.
How does receiving accolades like that feel? That must have been an amazing moment.
It's funny because I was in two minds right up until we actually got on the stage. I said, do we really need this? You know what I mean? Because we are, quite an old band, and really we probably should have been in about 20 years ago, given the criteria. But right up until, when I got on stage, and you see you're there with Dolly Parton,
Eminem, Lionel Richie.
Yeah, all different aspects, all different avenues of music. And they're all there, sitting down in front on the tables with all their entourages, and they're loving it. And you've got a great feeling of belonging, family, the music fraternity. Even Eminem, he was down there, I almost got rap when I watched him, almost, not quite. But you know what I mean? And from then on, I'm just so glad we did it, really am, just for that feeling, that lovely fraternal feeling.
It's remarkable. Pink came up and gave me a hug. Pink's coming towards me, she's coming towards me, now she's going to hug me, she's hugging me. And then she goes, I used to scrawl your name on my school books. Firstly I felt ancient, but then I thought, oh my God, that's the power of priest. The power of priest, You speak to so many people in the music industry that have a story about a priest in their life, usually a song, at school or at work or whatever it might be. And again, that's another joy that you don't really think about until you're presented with this. Pink is saying, I used to scroll your name in my school book. Just bang my head to living after midnight. I'm like, okay, great. But as Ian said, when you see this room full of extraordinarily talented people, and everybody's really giving out the love to each other because we're all doing the same thing. The music might be different, but we're all living the same life. The creative process, writing music, recording music, playing for your fans, we're all doing it, whether it's Dolly Parton or Judas Priest. We live so very similar type of lives and experiences in this business, as we call it. So to be in there, first and foremost, it was the biggest thrill to get some British heavy metal in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's only 3 in there, isn't there? Sabbath, Priest and Metallica at the moment.
I think so, yeah.
So that speaks volumes, you know. And yeah, you know, the gongs and everything. What it is, it's just a beautiful, lovely feeling. It makes you feel good inside. You know, is it the biggest thing in the world? Debatable. But to have it come from your peers, from other people that are in the same world of music, it's really touching, and we're grateful. British heavy metal is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is that? There you go. I think that deserves a round of applause. Are there any sort of newer metal bands that you guys are into? Do you keep an eye on what's happening in the rest of the scene?
Svalbard.
Yeah, nice.
And Malevolence, Sheffield, Sleep Token. Run out now.
So that's pretty good.
There's so many. We've always had an eye and an ear on what's going on around us, right from day one, because you know inspiration can come from any place, and particularly it's so thrilling and exciting to know in our own country there's this new charge of heavy metal in all its shapes and forms that are going to again go out in the world and show how great this country is.
I think that's really interesting. That's really important, because I think you can tell from your albums that you are involved in the world still. You're still keeping an eye out on it, because it does sound so fresh. Is that important to you, to stay relevant and stay sounding modern, whilst also maintaining what people love about Priest?
That's because of this man right here, Richie Faulkner. I mean, honestly, Richie brought a newness to the sound of Judas Priest. Any band member is going to bring something new to a band, and so Richie's been key in modernizing the sound of Judas Priest and writing songs that project that. And people seem to like it, right?
It's also this great balance that Richie struck with Glenn, who would have loved to have been here today, but, you know, whatever. We love him to death. His role, his value in this band hasn't diminished one shape or form whatsoever. We've been pushing that all the time. But I remember the day when Richie came up to Glenn's. We met him for the very first time, and pick up on that story, Richard.
Well, imagine sitting in a room with a guitar, and you've got him and Glenn saying, "Go on, him." What do you do? But I tell you what, and I said to Glenn as well, if I can't think of something to do now, this is the biggest opportunity I'm ever going to have. If I can't think of something to play, I might as well sell the guitar and give up. That's the opportunity. And so I don't know what I played, but it seemed to do the job. So, and that was after the Epitaph World Tour. And you know, to answer another question earlier on, you can see how that inspires the band from the road to go in and do another record. And then when you do the record, as soon as you put those songs down, it's like, oh, I've got to get back out on the road and play these live. And then the cycle repeats, you know, and we're here 13 years later with another record. But I'm just happy to be a part of it, you know. I was happy to be a part of it on the Epitaph tour. And as Ian said, you just go in the studio and try and do a better one. Because of the energy you're getting from the fans on the tour, or you know, the countries you visit, and the genuine love these guys have for what they do. So you show up, do your best, whatever your best is, and give it 1,000%. And that's all you can do, really. And I don't know what I'm talking about, really. I don't know where we started.
It all makes sense to me, Richie.
What Richie did was, you know, we said to him from that first day that we represent yourself. You know, he loves Priest. He couldn't believe he got the job, because tell everybody quickly about the deleting.
Oh, well, yeah, if you don't know, the management sent me a couple of emails over a week or so. Unfortunately, they were persistent, you know, for me. I didn't know the name of the manager, and it was about Judas Priest. I thought it was a mail out from a metal site I've been on, so I deleted the fucking thing. It's just cluttering up your email. Now the management clutters up my email in other ways. Let's sit about that. I'm joking, Janie, wherever you are. So obviously I spoke to the management. She laid out the situation. Could I go down, meet the guys? For some reason I said I was busy that week. I don't know if you know this.
No, but I do now.
I wanted to sound like I was busy for some reason. Like, oh yeah, so I can move some stuff around. So she said, okay, well you can come next week. And I said, no, I'll come tomorrow. And so, obviously when I put the phone down, and I couldn't really believe what had happened, and I looked in my trash folder and they were still there, and sure enough it said, you know, this is the management from Priest. We've been trying to get hold of you. Fortunately, for me again, they got my number from someone and tracked me down, but it was one of those pinch me moments really, and I couldn't say anything. For about a month, there were some plans going on being, you know, put together. I couldn't say anything, and but when obviously the news broke, all my friends were calling me and congratulating me and everything. So, and as I said, that was 13 years ago. So yeah, thanks to all of you guys, and thanks to these guys for putting up with me. You know?
You guys must have seen metal change a lot over the years. Is there anything specific that you've seen massively evolve or change for the better or worse over the course of the band?
It's been remarkable because when we started, I mean, there really was only in the British classic metal sense, there was Priest and Sabbath. There was nothing else. You know, you had your other progressive. I was talking about this to some blog.
Yeah, the heavy metal didn't exist. It was something that evolved over the following 5 or 6 years. It was either heavy rock or progressive rock.
Bloodwing
something
Pig,
like that, or heavy blues and stuff like
the
that.
Groundhogs,
The Groundhogs, yeah, bands like that.
Budgie.
Yeah.
But there wasn't really a distinctive. There really wasn't that much, you know. So to see how it's grown to this incredible variety.
It wasn't until probably 76, maybe 77, when somebody says that you're a heavy metal band and you knew what they were talking about. You know what to expect. For ourselves, it probably all gelled about 1980, didn't it? Everything with the music was, initially we were in sort of satins and velvets and flowing hankies and things, you know, like that, which was what you did back then in those days. And there's some dispute as to whether it was you or Ken who first worked in with a leather coat on. I said, "Ooh, that's pretty good. That goes just with the music." You know, next thing you know, everybody's got that. And by about 1980, everything had gelled. The music, the direction, and the image was all together about that time. You know, and it's been a march on since there. You know,
it always takes 10 years. It always takes 10 years. Any band that you'll speak to, whether it's Metallica or Maiden or Guns N' Roses, it seems to be you have to put at least 10 years of your life and dedication before you gain traction, before you can say, okay, everything's starting to stick, you know, now we can, you know, amplify things and go even further. So even though before British Steel we had rock and roll, Samplings of Destiny, Sin After Sin. What was next? Killing Machine? What was it?
Stained Class.
Stained Class.
Then Killing Machine.
Saints in Hell.
British Steel.
British Steel was after Saints in Hell, or was it after Point of Entry? Anyway, what I'm saying
There's definitely people here who can help you out.
What I'm saying is you have to accumulate all that. You know, all that is part of the foundation and the base. All of those albums, all of those shows, all these brilliant metal maniacs. More and more of us are all getting into the whole experience. So by that 10-year mark, and it couldn't have been at a more amazing time, because that record that we did with Tom Allen has just become this kind of figurehead. You know, it comes in at just over 35 minutes. And we wrote most of it at Lennon's house, Nurse Park. It was all very, very organic and spontaneous. But the way it's also stripped down, you know, just a very, very live type of could be in your bedroom, living room type of sounding record. And that record was like at the tipping point. And so that banging against the punk new wave movement, which was also, you know, exciting, but at the same time a little bit scary, because there was a feeling at the time that, oh, this is the death knell of metal.
That's it.
You know?
People have been trying to kill the music off ever since we started, basically.
There was this real kind of rejection. You weren't in magazines. Nobody talked about it. It's the end of metal. Of course, we thought that's bullshit. You know, metal lives forever, as it always will. But the fact that we got through that particular time in 1980, at the start of the decade, that's when things started to really change dramatically. After putting 10 years of work into the band.
When you'd done that first 10 years, was there any part of you that thought, well, this will probably carry on for at least another 40?
It's funny because when we started out and you look back, you know, people say you've been here for 50 years and we're in our 70s now, Rob and myself and Glenn. I mean, back then, even the old crooners, Bing Crosby was still in his 60s. And Frank Sinatra was in his 50s. Bill Haley was still in his 40s, the early 50s. So the concept of somebody our age doing popular music didn't exist. You know, so no, I mean, apart from that we were living from day to day anyway, you know, we woke up in the morning, it was a result. And you carried on, you know, but the concept of going on for 50 years, you know, back then I'd have been glad to have been, somebody told me you're going to be active for 50 years, I'd have been quite happy just to be alive, you know.
Should we have some questions from the audience? I've got some audience questions here. These have been through a big filtration process, so we've got a few here. Jimmy Smith, is there a Jimmy Smith in? Blimey, hello Jimmy, right up at the front. Do you mind if I'm going to read your question out for you, Jimmy? I know you're close, but here we go. To each member, what is your favourite track on the new album?
Shall I go first? I'll say what I'm going to say because I know what you're going to pick. I'm going to say Invincible Shield, just because when you hear it, it's just the dog's bollocks.
Yeah. It's one of those songs where I was singing along halfway through the first time of listening to it, which is the sign of an absolute banger.
I was going to say the same thing, funny enough.
But I thought you were going to say the S.
I know, the S word. At the moment, Serpent and the King's my favourite.
Yeah.
It was around a long time musically, without any vocals, but we knew it had something. And then when he put his vocals on it, it just sent it over the cliff. You know,
extra tight underpants that day because I never knew I'd got that in me until he and Andy Do It Again Sneak said, you know, go and have a crack.
I think he was right. I think he always pulls the best out of us in the studio, the best performances. And you've got to tell him that's not good enough. There's not many people that can do that, but Sneak will do it, but it's for the greater good, you know, and it gets the best out of all of us. So I'm going to say Serpent and the King.
Yeah.
Well, they both took my two favorites. So I'll be the radio guy and say Crown of Horns. How about that?
Yeah, they took mine as well. Probably different to say Giants in the Sky.
The closing track, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, and that has a proper epic closing track feel as well.
Yeah, it's a great production piece, yeah.
It's beautiful, but you know, again, Priest is an album band. You know, we represent ourselves with an album of our songs. You know, it's a different world now. The great bands just, you know, present themselves as this song or that song or that song. But you don't load this band. There's a representation. We were at this one place called Painkiller. We were at this one place called Screaming for Vengeance, and now we're at this place called Invincible Shield. And the flow, the continuity, the tracking sequence, which is always a lot of fun. The texts and emails are flying back like, I want that one third, I want this one fourth. But from Painkiller to the closing Painkiller, from Panic Attack to Giants in the Sky, just really tells the story of this band, where, you know, the place that we're at. And it's a beautiful song. It references Ronnie, it references Lemmy, not by name, but that's what they are to us. They're giants in the sky, you know, their music. So it's an homage to those guys and to others that are not with us anymore. And it's just a really powerful, strong statement that kind of brings a great conclusion to all of the music that you've heard.
Amazing. Damien Jones, where's Damien at? Damien? Oh, there you are. Hello, Damien. Damien says, would you ever perform a show playing the new album in full?
I would, without a doubt. I think it's strong. I mean, I'm going to say this. I think it's strong enough that we could do the whole album. Do 2 nights, do the album, and then do another night with a regular set list. Well, I mean, do 3 nights. We could do 3 nights. 4 nights here. We could do Painkiller 1 night, Screaming for Vengeance.
I think
I'm just saying.
I think 19 nights in a row. I mean,
The only way I'm going to do that is if I have a leather recliner with studs on. And I can do it like that, with my feet up. Well, we talked about that the other day, didn't we, Richie? We haven't done that. I think the only album we ever played in its entirety was British Steel, which they got over there. And, you know, there are so many opportunities that, you know, and the clock's ticking and you want to do so much. So let's get through this glorious moment together with Invincible Shield, and then we'll see where we're going to go next.
Heavy Metal Citadel. Who's Heavy Metal Citadel? Hello.
That's the sound that a heavy metal makes. It's like a screaming metal vulture thing.
But with a slight voice break in between. Heavy Metal Citadel says, can you tell us one secret about the new album that we might not know? They want exclusives, they want something juicy.
The bass lines were recorded in hotel rooms on the last tour.
Didn't know that. Didn't know that.
See, you don't
All
know
of
everything, do you?
them. All of them.
Most
I
of
thought you
it.
did some in your living room.
No, but the thing is, this album should have come out before COVID. Then COVID hits, you see, and we sit around with, you know, for a couple of years there. Then we go straight from COVID, straight into the 50th anniversary tour. And most things have been done except the bass. So Andy Sneap's, he's standing in for Glenn, of course, and he's got his laptop with him. And he's got all the information on his laptop. So he said, well, we've got days off here, we might as well put him to some videos. So I just went to his hotel room with the bass, plugged it into the laptop. And there you go, you know, which is what I do in the studio.
I didn't know that. Where was this lecture? What country was this in?
Throughout Europe, various countries.
Really?
I'd go round to Ian's
I mean, this is great. I think Heavy Metal Citadel wanted something that they didn't know, not something that Rob didn't know.
We had 1 or 2 complaints off the neighbours. Because you haven't got any headphones or anything, so we haven't.
If you listen carefully, you can hear room service knocking on the door.
I didn't know they had laptops with bass input guitar keys.
Oh, there was an interface there.
We're all learning today, this is brilliant. Zach Salvini, where's Zach Salvini? Great name, Zach Salvini. Zach says, what advice would you give to a new metal band? And that's N-E-W, not N-U.
Don't lose your sense of humour, you'll need it.
Yes, that is so true. God, you've got to have a sense of humour. The banter in this band is just, you know, it's a reality show. That's very true. You've got to obviously love the work that you're making and the band that you... Firstly, love each other and respect each other. That's what we have in this band. Everybody comes in with the same value. You know, there's nobody more important than somebody else. There's this incredible chemistry, and that's what keeps this band alive as it is now. So get that sorted. I mean, it's great to find your bass player, your drummer, your singer. You know, original music is incredibly important. Making your own voice heard, your own statement, that you are doing your best not to sound like somebody else. It's great to be inspired and great to have influence, but really trying to identify your own uniqueness. It's hard to do, but you've got to do that, because that's when people start to look and listen. And then you just got to really be prepared to, you know, commit to it 1,000%. And everybody needs to do that. You know, you can't have one person saying, can't make for the rehearsals tonight, I've got to, you know, watch Frank Skinner. So can't do that, can't do that. You can't have any of that. Everybody has to be in it to win it, Dale. So there's all that, but mostly, as Ian said, have a good time with it, you know. Don't lose your sense of humour.
Are you in a new band, Zach Salvini? Tail Gunner. Okay, you got...
That's a great name.
Very good name.
Are you on the internets? I will, I definitely will. I'll do it on the drive back up in the van on the M1. I'll be just banging my head to Tail Gunner.
That was the biggest opportunity of your life, Zach. Well done. You didn't blow it. Victoria Purcell. Victoria Purcell? That wasn't Victoria Purcell. Well, she's asked a great question. If you could break the law and get away with it, which law would you break?
I can't even go there.
There's so many.
Because one of two things going to happen. About they're going to be cancelled right here and now, or I'm going to end up in the nearest police wagon. I don't know. Has anybody
I'd
got
like to get rid of the speeding laws. That'd be great.
I love that you're just
silent.
We're going to incriminate ourselves whenever we say
using revolutionary filth, and we haven't got any. I think we've broken just about every law there is to break when you think about this band. Besides the song, you know, I've been in jail a couple of times, so I know what that feels like. Very nice. I was in a jail in Phoenix. When I got arrested for DUI, do not drink and drive. When I got arrested for DUI, I was in my Corvette. I was driving line, I think. I'm obviously not driving in a straight line because behind me, the guy pulls over and he rolls the window down and he goes, have you got a weapon? And I go, what? Have you got a weapon? I did actually. I said, yeah. He goes, where is it? I showed him. He said, give me that. Took that out. Blow into this bag. They had bags then, 1980, whatever. Blow in the bag and come with me. It seemed to take forever to get from where they picked me up to the police station. I was dying for a piss all the way, you know. I've been on the 24 gallons of Budweiser. And then they took me to this booking station. Then they took me to downtown Phoenix, and they go in and they go, oh, Rob, you know, it's breaking the law. And I'm thinking, they're going to let me go. These couples are going to let me go because they're all Priest fans. No. You know, they put me in a cell, and I'm thinking, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, God, you know, what have I done? What have I done? And then I'm sitting there, and then this other guy comes in, this Native American guy, big guy, sits down me. Judas Priest, yeah, broken the law. Within like 2 hours, it was packed. There was like 20 of us in this little cell, you know. And then the bartering began because they bring you like a bologna sandwich, 2 pieces of white bread with a bit of bologna in it, and a little bag of tobacco with the rolling papers. So this Native American goes, I'll give you my rolling papers if you give me your salami sandwich. So we bartered, you know, and then somebody else goes, how many salami sandwiches have you got? We're gonna have another one. And there was all this going on, so this breaking the law experience is a real living entity. I broke the law more than once, but I won't tell you about the George Michael one because that's too graphic. That was the one instance of really reality breaking the law.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that question, Victoria. We've just got a couple more questions before we wrap up. Nicholas and Franzi from Germany, are you here? Have you come from Germany today?
You came from
Wow,
Germany,
well
thank
done.
you so much.
Absolutely incredible.
Beautiful. This is what we like. We know you guys have come from all over. It really means the world to us. Thank you for travelling again today.
Well, they've asked, how are you getting in shape for the upcoming tour?
Fish and chips. We're not that bad considering where we're at, me and Ian, you know, and everybody else is in the same kind of demographic as far as I tell you, it's fucking hard work to be on the road. as just being on the road, but then when you have to, you know, do the job that you love to do more than anything else, and whether you like it or not, you have a responsibility, so you've got to be ready to deliver the goods, you know. So staying as fit as you can, and just being aware of, you know, your physical prowess to be able to go on the road and do, I don't know how many shows. When we start in next week or the week after, we're going to be non-stop until December, till Christmas, you know, going all around the world. So you've got to be ready to do that physically. And a lot of it is common sense. Everything in moderation. That's a simple mantra.
We got one more question. I suspect I know the answer to this, but Kelvin Easton? Kelvin? Where are you at, Kelvin? He's there somewhere. Once the world tour is over, will Judas Priest be back again?
Yeah! There's no place to stop, put it like that.
Thank you so much for doing this and chatting to me. The new album is absolutely incredible. Invincible Shield comes out next Friday. I guess all of you have probably pre-ordered it and bought it already. Absolutely amazing. And I'm told as well, this was your first ever live Q&A.
Yeah, well,
First time ever. Can we do another one? Yeah. Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Ben. This is lovely, you know, because, I mean, you know, there's obviously something very, very special about going to see your favourite band, going to see the show, because everything's in a different dimension, a different perspective, you know? And so we're all wrapped up in what we call the metal magic, but this is who we are. We're just a bunch of lads having a great time making metal and being with our metal maniacs, so we can't wait to kick the ball in the back of the net again.
Yeah! Give it up for